What separates the successful clients from the ones that are not successful?
If I had to narrow it down to one thing,
Yeah.
consistency. What often makes people fall off and not remain consistent is the fact that they go too hard too fast.
Yeah.
Volume will beat intensity every single time.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. We're here with the Coach Khalid. They taught me for my certification here in the gym. So we're going to ask him a couple of questions right now. So first question is, what got you into coaching? Why did you start?
So I actually got into coaching quite early. After playing professional football for a little while, I got into coaching because I wanted to give back, first of all. And I've always been a natural leader in my football team, for example. I was always seen as a leader or a senior player, even at a young age. So I thought I've always led from the front. So I thought, how can I benefit others in the same thing? That's my startup journey in terms of why I wanted to do coaching, why I chose coaching, other than the natural aspects, but also that I feel like it's a good opportunity to give back.
What's the biggest mistake when beginners come to the gym? What's the biggest mistake they make?
The biggest mistake beginners make when they come to the gym is that either they want to progress too quickly, and they don't do the fundamental things at the beginning, and then they just want to progress without sort of mastering the basics before adding more weight or before making exercises a little bit more difficult. Second thing is consistency. It takes time, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to believe it. They sort of get put off by the whole consistency aspect. So they look at the finish line, or they look at the top of the mountain, and they don't realize that, as each step that you take, every day that you show up to the gym is another step that you're going to get closer to getting better at what you're doing. But obviously, you can't get there as much as you'd like to. You can't get there overnight. So it's definitely the consistency aspect of things.
Yeah, which is why I don't actually tell them how long I'm going to train them for.
Yeah.
Like you told me, I tell them, you're going to train with me and you're going to get used to the fitness lifestyle till it becomes a habit, and then they naturally become more consistent.
Yeah, I mean, if you make it part of your day-to-day and you don't look at the end result, and I know it's cliche, but you enjoy the journey and the process, I think that's the main aspect, because usually when you do get to a certain goal, you look back and you think, well, it was the struggle that I really enjoyed. Yeah. And when you're in the struggle, you don't really want to be there.
Yeah. I know. Every time I train for a fight, I just want it to end. After I'm done, it's like I kind of want to go back again.
Exactly. So it's always about the journey, right?
It's about the
actual end result. And sometimes, actually, when you get to the end result, you lose the sensation of happiness because you have nothing to look forward to.
Yes.
So it's almost like finishing a marathon. And when you finish a marathon, or you fight, and you finish your fight, you always think, okay, so what's next?
Yeah, what's next? If someone was going to start today, what's the advice you'd give them?
Baby steps, encouragement, that the fact that they've made the decision to start today. I think that the first thing that you got to do is encourage the individual to say, like, you took the first step. And usually the first step is the hardest step. The second thing I would say is that don't rush, take your time, don't put unnecessary pressure on yourself, and try to understand that this is a lifestyle change as opposed to something that you're looking at short term, or this is something that's going to benefit all aspects of your life, not just the fitness aspect.
What separates the successful clients from the ones that are not successful?
If I had to narrow it down to one thing, consistency. Consistency, because I always say it in regards to training and in regards to volume. Volume will beat intensity every single time. So if you show up a little bit every single day, that's better than you doing a lot inconsistently. So I would say the biggest separating factor is consistency. Like, even that person that shows up once a week, but they always show up once a week.
Yeah, he's going to get results.
Beat that other person that's like, okay, in terms of intensity in their day-to-day or in their training, it can maintain a really high intensity, but the consistency is not there. So it also reflects on performance when it comes to let's say, professional sports. As a coach, I would much prefer to see a player be very basic, but not minimize the mistakes they make in the game, as opposed to somebody who's really, really good, but doesn't perform consistently. Now, as a coach, you would say that you'd much prefer the consistent person because you know what you're going to get, and you know that, okay, they're going to minimize the amount of mistakes they're going to make, or they'll just do their job, and sometimes do a little bit extra, but that's much better than the person that sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah, 100%. I find that with myself a lot sometimes. I'd rather show up 3 times a week and always go rather than going every single day and then leaving for a month or 2 months. And then
that's usually, if you circle back to like what usually happens with people starting in beginners, is that they go too hard, too fast, and they either end up getting injured or they get overwhelmed, or it's too much of a change to their everyday lifestyle. So again, we have to think of, I always reflect back on how hard is it to change one of your own habits? We know that it's a very difficult thing to do. So now imagine trying to change somebody else's life and somebody else's habits. It's a very difficult thing. So we have to say and always reflect that it's going to take time and to minimize the amount of changes or make them progressive. That way it doesn't feel like a whole change when you, so again, what often makes people fall off and not remain consistent is the fact that they go too hard, too fast.
Yeah.
Right? You can't go from not training at all to training 5 days a week. As opposed to somebody who's been doing it for years, but they only go 2 or 3 times a week. But it's part of this.
It's just part of the lifestyle, yeah.
Exactly.
And finally, one message to the viewers.
I'll say that always focus on not only the physical aspects of fitness and training in your life, and recognize the positive aspects it can have overall. So when you're talking about young people, I would say that it teaches you discipline, it teaches you consistency, it teaches you how to obtain a goal and achieve it and stick to it and start something and finish something. And then when you talk about someone who's a little bit older, you think about the longevity of your life, the quality of your life, the benefits of having a good cardiovascular system, a good muscular system, how it's going to reflect in terms of your insulin response and things you got to think about when you're getting older, when your body does start to slow down. So again, don't just think of going to the gym as being something that's physical. Think of it as a holistic thing where it's going to help your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, your emotional health. There's a balance between everything. Yeah.
It reminds me of a story one time I've seen from my coach. He said, don't just train to look good. Train so then when you get older, you can play with your kids. You can live for your kids. You can provide for them.
We always talk about, okay, we're going to die anyway, right? But you think of, okay, but do you want to spend the last 10, 20 years of your life suffering? Or do you want to spend it with quality time with your family, with your friends, with your loved ones, and be healthy and be able to move around and be able to go to the bathroom by yourself and cook your food and go for walks and get up and get down without needing assistance? So we always talk about, you can look at either side of the spectrum. When you're young, it teaches you a lot of keys to life. And when you're older, it also gives you a lot of keys to life because nobody wants to be dependent on someone else. And if you've ever had an injury or if you've ever had surgery or something like that, you'll think back and think, man, but I can't do stuff that I'd usually do on my own. And this is almost like debilitating.
Yeah. So it's not only for the short term, it's for the long term. It's benefiting your life as well. And finally, just shout yourself out. Where can they find you?
You can find me. Actually, this is my gym, AQ, Equilibrium. We're here in Daha, in San Marino. So you can find me here all the time. Other than that, I'm on Instagram. My surname and my first name. It's going to be hard to say, but maybe we'll tag it.
I'll put it in there.
Put it in the link or somewhere. Other than that, AQ Gym. Follow us if you're in Lusail or if you're in Daha. Come and try us out. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that was great, man. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.